Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our normally weekly show all about the shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg and this is...
Silver Fox Matt Strange.
It's been a few weeks.
It has. Live, innit, I suppose?
Yes. Yeah. Basically, there will be a glut of episodes getting uploaded just before this, including our all-out review, which some real-life stuff hit me that I didn't have the opportunity to do the editing and uploading or the mental capacity to do the actual recording. I've been watching all the wrestling, though.
It's actually been really good.
It has been really good.
And it's an all-out retrospect now.
So, yes. Last couple of weeks, I believe you've got a top 5 best and top 5 worst.
I've got a few best. It's been, as much as I can't say all of the wrestling has been phenomenal, it's actually been pretty standard. So I've got my least favourite thing and 4 of my top things for at the end.
So I'm just going to quickly jump over and say, normally we would have a news segment and a social media segment. Apparently I've picked the right couple of weeks to have to drop out, because nothing's really happening.
The best thing which has been on social media to do with AEW is all of the on love shooting people memes and tweets and shirts that were all over Twitter. Nyla Rose was on Twitter for like 24 hours straight just posting memes about Arn Anderson shooting people. It was wonderful.
I love
More
you,
on that
Nyla.
later.
I love you. So let's just address the elephant in the room. Have we missed an S-rank match? Because I think we missed an S-rank.
I gave it an A, but shockingly, it's in my top things to discuss at the end of the show, shall we say? So, well, we'll get to discuss Murder Vegan versus. God, I love him. He's fucking great.
Okay, so as I said, this is going to be a short show. This is mainly just a quick catch-up, and our big plan is to do a proper full relaunch next week's show, which should be episode 78, and we'll go back to some of our old format. We will try and do some bookings on the fly, and just some more
Send us some
discussion.
questions.
Yeah, we could really do with some questions to both our listeners. Oh, I have got a piece of gossip before we go into this.
We've got 14, Morg. Don't knock down ourselves. We've got 14 listeners. Hi, guys.
In November, this person right here is going to meet Kenny Omega.
Woo!
I just want a photo next to him with him doing the gun thing. That's all I want.
Yes, mate, I know what you're after. One day I'll get my photo with Chucky T. One day.
We'll have to arrange it. Right, so let's kick off. I believe it's over to me to straight away for Dynamite.
It is. Let's fucking go.
We're skipping BTE because I haven't had a chance to watch it. And as we say,
I don't care about shoes. I don't fucking care. I turn it on, it goes shoes, and I just go,
I
sorry.
like Shoes, he's all right.
Oh, poor Shoesy.
For those who don't know, we have a friend whose nickname is Shoes. Right. Dynamite, Shivani, JR, Excalibur on commentary, and our opening match. And this is the anniversary Dynamite. 2 years?
Yeah, it was.
2 years?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Super Elite, which is Bucks, Cole, and Kenny, versus Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage, Bryan Danielson. The Elite win with a 4-way BTE trigger. What did you think of the match, and what score did you give it?
It's not really. I can't really say this is a 4 people versus the Elite match. That's not to say I didn't enjoy this, but this was mostly Jungle Boy fights for 20 minutes, and some other people have a spot. Really good match. Not a lot of rotation in it, should I say. But Jungle Boy is obviously great. He does his little bounce ropey spot things, which are always really good. We did have the worst indie taker ever. That fucking bounce to the tombstone on the outside by the Bucks was fucking awful.
It lost the rank off me because of that.
Yeah, it was so, I've even written down, really cost the match. And then we went back to the Jungle Boy match. We got a little bit of Murder Vegan versus Kenny, my favourite. Not enough for my taste, obviously, but I don't think they're ever going to give me enough of their tastes until one of them dies. But then we got the usual rotating spots that they're really, really good at. You know, I do a thing, that guy runs in, does a thing, da 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 da. Dinosaur, Luchasaurus, he got his normal spot run. He's getting repetitive again. As much as I like the chokeslam a man onto another man thing, we're getting back into that phase I criticised a while back of him just doing the same moves in each sequence. But once again, solid technically, fun, but basically a Jungle Boy match into a clusterfuck. I gave it a C rank. It was good. Average good match for me. Didn't quite pop me in any other direction, but entertainment.
So this was a clusterfuck with the Young Bucks in. Can you guess what rank I gave it?
Is it a B?
It is.
It is a B.
It's a B. It's a clusterfuck with the Young Bucks in. I really like clusterfucks with the Young Bucks in.
The Young Boys in. It's not NJPW.
Yes. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Apart from, it would have got a high B probably, had it not been
If it wasn't for that
world's worst indie taker.
I hit him so late, and he did.
Where are we going to put the split then? Are we going for the split with a C? Because I am happy to slightly downgrade.
I'll go with a C plus for now. And
Yeah,
if I'm too negative on the next one, I'll bring it up.
Because of the.
So bad.
Right, following on from that, we had a Mox promo. Thoughts?
Kind of mediocre for Mox. Like, normally I'm a big Mox fan. He gets his bants in and such. Like, we got a bit of the home tap. I just don't feel he had his usual momentum. Quite skippable for our old lunatic fringe Moxley.
Yeah, it was just a promo. I think the problem is it wasn't a. It was a C. And
yeah,
normally we just expect a B. We just expect a B. Right, following on from that.
Oh God, Punk's 5 minutes.
Yep. Punk's weekly 5 minutes where he sets up his match on Rampage. Any thoughts?
Right, okay. We've not spoke about Punk since pretty much his introduction, what with life and all. So I'm going to take a few moments here, Morg, as you are the established Punk fan and I am the established Smark. At least he walked out and went, "Are you tired of this yet?" He does at least acknowledge the meta situation, because I'm going to be honest, I could do without an episode with Punk in. Now, this isn't to say I hate Punk. I think he's really good on commentary. Every time he's been on the commentary team, I've actually applauded him. You could get rid of JR and Shivani now. We could just have Excalibur, Baz, and Punk. I'd take that. Obviously, once the Punk feud ends. He said he's happy to be here, which is every promo he does once a week. I should go with what Matthew of Botchamania said on Twitter, which was, he shouldn't do the "do you want to watch me wrestle or do you want food" thing when they come to England, because we'll ask for food. We'll be like, "Do you want to watch me wrestle or do you want free Subway sandwiches?" Fucking free Subway sandwiches, eh? Ba-bow! I don't think I can rank it just because I'm so indifferent to Mr. Brooks. What did you think, established Punk fan?
What this is a little bit of, this is the same thing as I said about Best in the World becoming an albatross. Like you said, thankfully he acknowledged it and made a joke out of it. I quite like, one of the problems they've got is the fact you've got Brian and Punk, and Brian is the killer, one of the two, and Punk's back after 7 years, and his babyface persona currently, his best babyface persona is an anti-establishment tweener. That is his best.
He can't really do in a good company where they take care of people, where he's allowed to say his things.
They can when Cody turns.
He ain't gonna turn.
More on that later. But yeah,
more on that later.
But you know what I mean. They can when Cody and the Bucks turn and start using their EVP status, inverted commas, power to, and you can have Punk. The problem is currently he can't, and he's also doing the Welcome Back tour. And the other thing that shot him in this one, it was in Philly. This was a crowd that were going to be hot to him like Chicago.
Oh, I got you, yeah.
The whole speech he made. I'm liking his "I'm happy to be back" because he is building not the bridges. for those of us that were fans, and even I'm thinking those of us that were fans and maybe were a little annoyed at him cutting it all off, not the ones who were heavily annoyed and completely dislike him because of he left them
they're children
when he was their hero when he left them in the lurch. The ones who were just a little bit, we've missed you. He's just winning them with these promos because he's
I suppose.
But I want. And I quite like him just being a full-on babyface at the minute, because it's
as long as he puts
different.
over Hook, I'm happy.
Because it's actually, I am wondering who's going to be his first one to put over.
Hook, send Hook.
I think I don't think it. Hook's first match. Oh, Hook's first match.
Hey, that's how you build a. Look, I mean, look at Hook.
Exactly what Punk's here to do.
Yep, he was forged in a fucking lab for a moment like that.
Oh, yeah. I'd say it's a C. It's just a straight babyface promo.
Yeah, we'll give it a passable.
Yeah,
it was fine.
But as I say, as a Punk fan, I'm just quite enjoying watching him just be effectively a white meat babyface who's a bit of a badass.
Not everything has to be for me.
Yeah,
I can deal with the fact not everything in the show has to entertain me 100%.
But yes, but as I say, I am enjoying a white meat babyface inverted commas again, Punk, because it's a bit different for me. So it makes him a bit fresh for me. Anyway. Moving on from there, Arn Anderson and Cody segment.
From one babyface promo to another, I love new Arn. I had a great time. I've just written down Arn is based now. Cody walking up going, what are you going to do? Shoot me? It's the best Cody is BTE Cody that makes the snarky comments and has a good sense of humour. Face turn on, he slapped him. I'm happy. I want to see where it's going. I'm enjoying this story, and it's above the average for me, so I'm giving it a B rank. Good stuff.
Backing it up, really nice production values. It was a nice little segment. It was interesting. I really liked Cody throwing the tie in the fire.
Yeah.
Proving a point, which still gave us a bit of fired up babyface Cody. And I'm now they've done all this work, I will be less annoyed if he comes back and beats Malachi, because he's lost to him twice. And I will be less annoyed because it won't feel like he just had to roughshod over him. It'll feel like he's earned the win.
And like Malachi has to win.
Should. I mean,
Malachi's a face.
Oh no!
Malachi beats up arrogant people. He waits till they get arrogant and he beats them up. I love him.
Listen to that crowd reaction.
Yes, mate. There are more House of Black here.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm with you. It's a B. Definitely a B, and possibly a high B. I really did enjoy that.
A story to care about. Hooray!
So following on from that, we had a Bobby Fish promo, basically introducing himself. What were your thoughts?
Solid enough. I didn't really know who Bobby Fish was before, other than the name, about. Just got to know him. And honestly, kind of skippable, but we can get onto the match because the match was wicked.
Yeah, I think it was just there for anyone who hadn't watched, who watches AEW, it was there for you and Muir.
Yeah, exactly that.
This is because you haven't watched NXT. I, of course, know him as being part of Adam Cole's stable in
oh, right,
NXT.
Okay, is that where he's from?
He's part of the Undisputed.
I like him.
With Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong.
I'll get the rest soon.
It's yes and no. That sounds like a chat for later. Anyway, so then we had Bobby Fish versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. Sammy wins with the GTH. What did you think of the match and what score did you give it?
I really enjoyed this match. It was great. I like his spiky teeth gum guard thing. That's an amazingly small detail that stood out to me as a character thing. He's got great strikes. We got grappling. He wouldn't let Sammy springboard on anything. If Sammy went for the ropes, he just kicked it. And I liked that. It wasn't overbearing. It was nice, clean, paced, slowed down a bit in picture, but not enough to piss me off. The two of them read like they had chemistry. I'm guessing they've not wrestled much together in the past. But they danced, shall we say. Sammy casually pulls out a better spinning elbow than the Judas effect, which made me laugh. The Avalanche Falcon Arrow looked very Japan to me. And the go to hell out of nowhere actually looks good. And I think it looks better than the go to sleep because he flips them the other way. I'd call it match +1. It got a B rank from me. Didn't have enough story to really carry it higher up into the rankings, but I really enjoyed it. That's exactly the kind of match I like, where both people got to use their style, and it came together lovely.
You know what I haven't done? We haven't done the ranking system. Well,
people know a tier list.
People know a tier list. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I know Bobby Fish. I loved this whole technical versus the high flyer. Not that Bobby can't do. Is he all elite? Is he just on a short-term contract? They were talking about Forbidden Doors. They were suggesting that he's possibly there. I think part of me quite like him. I think a technical mid-carder like Bobby Fish
It's
might
not just
be
technical though. He reads more as a brawler for me. Like he could go.
Yes.
Like how FTR are.
Yes.
His is more strike based over slam based.
Yes. Yeah. I really enjoyed this match. I gave it a B. It was really,
I want to see him in NJPW, and I think he's doing some matches there. So if there's any good ones, I'll shout those out. I've still not watched the G1.
So then Don Lambert and Top Team come to the ring, jump Sammy, Jericho and Hager for the save, after Fuego made a very unsuccessful attempt at a save. Anything to add? What do you think about this American Top Team stuff?
I've been enjoying these guys because that damn Lambert guy's got some fucking promo game, and apparently he's done wrestling things before. I don't know. I could do with a break from them. And Fuego ran out. I was like, "Where's the Inner Circle? Do they not remember Sammy?" But then Jericho remembered. Lambert said, "Inner City, more MMA things." Jericho pulled it back because Jericho's fucking phenomenal on the mic. It was solid, I suppose. I don't think I could really give it a D, but it's a low C for me. I could use with a break from them, or actually maybe a promo sequence showing me who these MMA fights are, because I don't watch MMA, I watch wrestling and anime. You know, this guy's really badass. Is he?
So yeah, I've got a new housemate who's a wrestling fan, but he's also an MMA fan. He's a UFC fan, and he's really enjoying these, or certainly giving me the impression that he's enjoying it, because he's used to seeing Dan Lambert being very serious and seeing these names, and he knew the names, and was so. Again, I don't think we're the target audience for this. I think Colin is. My new housemate. I think he's.
Feel free to tell Morg the rank we should use in the future.
Yes. Yeah.
I like Dan Lambert though. Great fucking games from him all the time.
One thing that pissed me off: Proud and Powerful didn't come out with Hagar and Jericho.
Yeah, good point.
And I appreciate why they didn't, because they were setting up the one match. But
I think it's time to break the Inner Circle up.
It annoyed me a little. I think
Sammy's got his blog crew.
I think they are slowly just going to just go to the wayside.
I think it's for the best. I think they're all moving on to different things now. I think they could do a plot where they just break up, but they all stay friends, as opposed to the necessary cataclysmic breakup. I think it's just time to let them all do a bit more of what they want to do. Jericho wants to play with different celebrities on TV in a way that doesn't exist in the Codyverse. Proud and the Powerful they've got all the fucking tools. They can do what they want. Sammy's got his vlog crew. It's just time. Like, I like the Inner Circle, but
yeah. Moving on, Acclaimed promo.
Standard Acclaimed promo, isn't it? Talk your opponent, losing the match. I just wrote down, can't wait to watch them lose.
So following on from that, we had the Tony Khan announcement, which I've actually got that crossed out, and I've got the Tony Schiavone announcement. Yeah. And we're going to have a new title for the women's division. And I believe in mainstream, I could be wrong, Impact or TNA might have done something. But this is the first mid-card women's title I can think of in Western. And I mean that in... not a specifically all-female. Obviously, I imagine Stardom has got more than one.
Oh yeah, it's got like 12.
But this is the first mid-card women's title I can think of, certainly in Western wrestling. What did you think?
Yeah, no, Impact went the other way. They just said women could challenge for their main title.
Yes.
But mainstream TV is not ready for that yet. Anyway, this was no surprise for me. The belt design and stuff had been leaked for ages, and then a bunch of other things came out. So I was just like, okay. I'd have preferred a women's tag league because it'll give the women more to do, but it's at least something else for them to feud over and such like. I do think it would be a nice looking belt if it wasn't for the TBS logo in the middle of it. I think it looks shit. Everything else about it, the setup, the size, the classic circle with the stuff around the side, everything else is set up perfectly. And then it's got that little lowercase TBS in the middle in the square, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll give it a B for giving us a women's title, I suppose.
Yeah. So, following on from that, Darby Allin and JR interview. Any thoughts?
Darby's not the best promo. I think we should keep him in his Guinness adverts. I think that's when he's best. Or, as I watched a bit of the Cody Brandy reality TV show, let him be who he is backstage. He's really chipper and cheerful and quite nice. I don't want to be an asshole, but I know the story of everything which is going on. I think he's better quiet. I think it was quite skippable. I don't think it really helped Darby. What did you think?
I thought this was all right, actually. The Raptor was still good. She thought he cut a really good promo. Just it felt quite heartfelt.
Not fair. Yeah, no, I get it.
And yeah,
I've just heard it before. He did it in his first arc. He did it in his middle arc. I'm like, yeah, it's sad. He's half dead. I don't know.
I really do want him to be MJF's nemesis, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. They could feud forever, and it'll be wicked.
But I want him to be his true nemesis. This feud, Darby has to win, and he has to win clean. This needs to be the first time that MJF can't crow about it afterwards. As much as we love him as a heel, because he needs
clean losses,
and he needs he just needs one person to have it. He needs that nemesis. And I may have mentioned this on the podcast before. Triple H used to have it, and it was Benoit. And Triple H, I don't believe he beat him until Triple H was a babyface, if I remember correctly. And Benoit was always his nemesis, the guy he could never beat. And it is so good for a heel.
There it is.
Because you can use that against them.
Somebody you could pop up and take a title off him if necessary and not really hurt either of them. Yeah, I'm 100% with you.
It would actually protect MJF because it's the one person he can't beat, and it's the person that, he's pissed Tony Khan off, and Tony Khan goes, yeah, you've got a match against this guy, and MJF can sell it as well. Fuck.
MJF could sell anything.
Anyone but him. So yeah, that's what I want. Anyway, then we had Darby Allin with Sting versus Nick Comoroto with the Factory. Darby wins with the coffin drop. What score did you give it?
Looks like I missed a match that I really disliked for my end of the show bit. Last year or in lockdown at some period, Darby had a match with Comoroto on Dark that I lauded, and I said it was brilliant, that they sold Comoroto as this giant beast, and he was throwing Darby around, and then Darby does his normal comeback, some limb work, takes him down. I think Comoroto has a look that deserves to be pushed. He doesn't have to be a top guy, but he could be an enforcer. He's a caveman. Look at Grug smash. Then we have a 4-minute match where Darby just kicks the shit out of him. Takes a couple of bumps after the boring picture-in-picture, and then just does a coffin drop and wins. I thought this match was lame. I think it didn't help Darby other than giving him some more numbers. I think it made Comoroto look weak. All in all, disappointing.
See, now I gave this a low C because I didn't think it was very good overall, but I didn't think it was that as one-sided, but I might have been a bit distracted during this match, and we might have been chatting, so I might have been only really paying attention whenever Comoroto had any offense, and then getting distracted in chatting about other things.
But if you were distracted from it, you couldn't be bothered to watch it, and I think it was lame. It's getting the D. It's right. It's the only D thus far. I think it's the only D. We'll see. I don't have all my notes.
Right. Following on from that, Dark Order backstage segment.
A solid feel-good moment. They're getting on the same page. It's nice. I can't say it was anything particularly inspiring because most of the Dark breakup story has been on Dark with some of the matches on the main show, but it's nice to have them all back together, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just a bit of fun. I think it was just something to do for them. You know,
exactly.
You don't want to break up the Dark Order, but let's have.
People want to come in and leave. Like 5 is obviously going to, but yeah.
I'm not entirely convinced that even that's going to happen. It's I don't think any of them are ready to leave Dark Order yet, except possibly Anna.
I'm just going to be in Sammy's stable
because they're such a solid. Oh, that's true. Yeah, but they're such a solid group, and they're so loved that I think I haven't hated this Dark Order breakup because you haven't actually broken them up.
And it hasn't been overdone. It hasn't overwhelmed me. I've just been like, oh, this is happening. That's cool. Oh, a little bit of story.
And we've all been expecting one thing to happen, which was one person to come back and save the day. More on that later. Anyway, Dante Martin, there. Put my teeth back in. Dante Martin in-ring promo. He calls out anyone. Lights go out. Malachi Black appears and kicks Dante's head off.
I love him. I'm not just going to big up Malachi in this because I love Malachi and I hope his gimmick is a face that beats up arrogant people. Well, a tweener that beats up arrogant people because, you know, if you're beating up good guys and bad guys alike, that's good. But on the other hand, hasn't Dante got a bit of game on the mic? He came across strong. He had some good bants. Won me over. And obviously Malachi fucking teleports in like a badass. Knocks him into hell, teleports him out the ring instead, which made me laugh.
Raptor thought he'd
teleporting away.
Raptor thought he'd eaten him.
I must grow stronger. Yeah, I gave it a B. I'm excited for the Malachi story. We all know Dante's on the rise. It's nice to see he's got promo game.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you there. That was pretty strong. It was interesting. It was something else, and yeah, I like the fact that they played on the fact that Dante is having these phenomenal matches against top tier guys as well, and I think they'll have a really good match. Following on from that, we had a Ricky Starks in-ring segment in which Cage runs out after Ricky Starks kind of calls him out and says he's not there. Any thoughts?
Very skippable. I just wrote down meh. It's just the usual solid heel, and I like Ricky Starks and I like Team Taz. But it's just the usual solid heely stuff till you get scared off, you know. Obviously leading to a win for Cage later on. More on that later.
Yeah. So after that, we had various women wrestlers promoing about the new TBS Championship.
Fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
Britt's bit later is better.
Yes.
I'm just going to say that.
Then we had Shida versus Serena Deeb. Serena wins with the Serenity Lock and then turns heel on Shida.
Oh.
What did you think of the match and what score did you give it?
I was more pleased with this match than I thought I was going to. Because I actually wrote down Shida beats Deeb as the tagline for this. And ho-ho! Even though it'll still be the first woman to 50 wins if she wins next match.
You got worked.
I was so happy. I was almost as happy as Shida looks when she's wrestling. We get a slightly weird technical wrestling start. Where it took a bit of a while for them to warm up to each other, shall we say. No moves, just wrestling, but I didn't love it look particularly great. It was paced and solid. And then Steve's comeback was just fucking rough, and I was like, ho ho ho. We had some solid set of strong slams from Shida. God, that's a lot of S's. I was starting to criticize the katana, which I think is one of the worst ideas for a finisher in the world. But then Deeb caught it, and I cheered. And then a tap out for the win. Women's storyline, not based around a title. Sure, they had to make up a little fucking trophy thing. Whatever, she can win it in the next match. It started as a C for me, and I was like, this is all right. But then it sort of picked up a bit for the end, and the turning expectations on its head made it a B for me.
I'm willing to go along with that. I think you've described that really well. I had it down as a C, mainly from the first portion of the match because it was just a solid match. But I think you're right. I think everything thrown in together. Yeah,
it just rounds it up with story. It doesn't always have to be the best thing in the ring to go up a match. Wrestling's the worst part of wrestling.
Yes. So following on from that, we had a Darby Allin backstage promo where he is jumped by a bunch of masked men.
This made me a little bit uncomfortable as a scene, if I'm honest. Only in two moments. I enjoyed Sean Spears arriving chair first. As we all know, I'm a unabashed Sean Spears mark. I think he didn't need to giggle as much. It seemed a bit like a parody of the Joker at times. And then they slammed him into that stop sign. And I was like, oh, fuck. You know when something looks so rough, you laugh. That's what happened. Then they got the railings out, and Wardlow got him up for the F10. And I was like, if this goes wrong, you're going to impale a man. He's suffering a Mortal Kombat stage fatality on the fucking legs off them. I felt generally quite bad about it. It was a solid beatdown. Did look a bit like an IRA beating out of nowhere, but I'll let that pass. Yeah, very good dubsy dubbing, as I noticed. I gave it a B as well. I always love a backstage beatdown. I loved how obvious it was. I don't know if Darby was intended to be out and injured for his match next week, or if it happened after they fucking ran him like a battering ran a stop sign, and then almost ended his life. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
I think this will be a repeat of the Miro thing where Darby will do the fight anyway, even though he's been beaten down. But I think this time he'll win.
I can't believe they have Tenderman next to Spikes.
I know.
I was like, please don't do this.
Right, moving on from there, we had Lio Rush backstage promo. Thoughts?
I like Lio Rush as much as I fucking rolled my eyes and screamed about him coming out in that battle royale because I didn't have a fucking clue who he was. Man has some good promo game again. He's got bands. He can speak with a cadence and a rhythm. But the only thing which is getting me is his gimmick is, I will take your money, invest it in stocks, make you a big star, yeah? That's his gimmick, am I right?
Yeah.
He's Wu-Tang Financial from the Dave Chappelle show. So his gimmick is just Matt Hardy's gimmick, but better.
So we were discussing this. What if his gimmick is Matt Hardy's gimmick, but babyface?
Oh, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he sticks good. But in all honesty, Matt Hardy went, sign some contracts and I'll rip you off. And, look, business did what I, as a writer who knows nothing about business, would write. Wave some paper, sign this, I have your money. Lio Rush is talking stonks. He's going on about this. If he starts pulling out diamond hands and to the moon, I think he interprets the gimmick better for a younger audience or a more aware audience.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I am evil businessman.
I am intrigued to see where this goes.
Yes, I'm with you.
We'll talk a little bit more about this after the because there's one in Rampage, isn't there?
I believe so.
The next part of this promo is in Rampage, and that's when we had our discussion about it. And so we'll discuss this a little bit more then, I think. Just because I think it'll be relevant. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's nice to see Leo, especially as we considered that we thought he'd had to retire. So even if he is just going to be a manager, brilliant.
It's some matches. It's probably what he'll do. He doesn't want to die in wrestling. Obviously doesn't want to escape the business. So I assume he'll do some storyline, do a couple of small matches where he wants, because he doesn't have to destroy his life to wrestle in AEW.
Well, he can be in a tag team match, do a couple of flashy moves, especially, which is probably why I would keep him in the babyface tweener position, just because it's then easier to come out and do something flashy.
I'm going to give him a B because we managed to have a chat about it, which means it's above an average promo. Yeah, see?
That's fair. Following on from that, another definite B. It's our girl. God, we hated her. God, we hated her.
Didn't we?
I know we say this all the time, but it's so true. Britt comes out, cuts a fantastic promo, says exactly what I wanted her to say. What were your thoughts?
I can't really add anything other than there's jealousy is a disease and I have no cure for you. She's wonderful. B. I don't think it's worth adding anything than that. It was great. She's a cunt, and I love her.
Then we finished off with the casino ladder match. The winner gets a future shot at the AEW World Championship. Unfortunately, I had kind of had this spoiled. I knew who the Joker was.
I'd figured it out.
But to be honest,
who gives a fuck?
Had I watched this blind, I would have figured out who the Joker was.
Yes.
So Orange Cassidy, and then Pac, then Andrade, then Matt Hardy, then Lance Archer, then Mox, which was very interesting because I liked the way that it moved on the current feuds. And the Joker is Hangman Adam Page. And we popped, and Hangman wins by taking down the casino chip. What are your thoughts and scores on the match?
Right, before this match started, I wrote down the order which I would put the wrestlers in the match and who would start, etc., etc. And they came out in exactly the order I said they would. So I can't be too critical in any way, shape, or form. Pac versus Orange Cassidy. They've not got a feud, but they've got a rivalry, and great start between them. I like the fact they didn't fuck about with the jokey comedy bits too much, and it showed in the characters. They sort of looked at each other and went, all right, it's just on then. And that's nice. It shows the evolution of their story, because they know each other now.
Yeah, I liked the bit where Cassidy just jumped across, well, because you reminded me, went to put his hands up, and Pac, instead of doing the heel thing, though, because Pac's playing that sort of weird tweenery face thing at the minute, kind of went, no, come on, we're not doing that. And
exactly that.
Right then, fair enough. Okay, we won't do that. And then Cassidy did it later.
He's got to get his spots in. Arguably, my favourite OC comedy moment this came first when Pac pushed the ladder in and Orange Cassidy just pushed him back out. I like the fact that people were going for ladders at the start and actually trying to win the match. That often doesn't happen for a while. Then Andrade came out, which is the correct booking because he's the only one with an active, real feud at the moment to properly pursue. And the fact he went for Pac over the title because of his thing of I'm going to beat you properly, we'll discuss more of this later, shockingly, was really good. Then obviously we get Matt Hardy, a brilliant moment where Orange Cassidy kicked off Hardy into a tornado DDT on Andrade. Great. Lance comes out, just catches a fucking tope, and he was the best one to sort of smash everybody down because he's still, in my mind, despite his losses, maintains as a juggernaut. And he looked really strong. And the only person who was ready for him was Pac, so Pac got to look strong again. It was really good. Then obviously Mox has to come out to stop Lance because he's the only one who can stop Lance. And Lance ate a load of shit before he could go down, so he didn't fucking lose. And nobody lost anything in this match. I didn't feel bad for anyone except for Andrade, when he took that bump from the ladder onto the other ladder, and I was like, is he dead? Hangman's entrance, obviously the fucking pop of the night. It was wicked. He got to look great. And the first one to once again slow down Hangman's run was Pac. So Pac has maintained all the way through this. Did lose a little bit of pace towards that bit at the end as lots of people disappeared and everybody was laid down and out and about. But then everybody got up for a solid clusterfuck, except for some of Orange Cassidy's punches on Mox looked a bit shit. Buckshot lariat that Hangman hit Lance with was perfect. Lance was properly in the middle of the screen, and then just Hangman just came in from the left flying and hit him. The pop for it, I gave it a high B, but talking it back and how much I enjoyed it and the return pop, I'm going to give it an
A. So yeah, I was pretty much on the same thing, and then Hangman came out, and yeah, it's an A. It was a really good match. Lots of stuff happened. I loved the way they played with the feuds, because I have to say that I actually see more feuds in this than you did, and I thought that was why it was really well done.
Which feuds do you see?
So you had Cassidy came out first, then Pac came out, and they had history. They didn't have a feud, but we had the baby face versus the new tweener face. Then Andrade, who's feuding with Pac, came out, and that worked really well.
Yeah.
Then Matt Hardy, who's feuding with Cassidy, came out.
Orange Cassidy came out, yeah.
Yeah. Then Lance Archer came out, who can just destroy everyone. And then Mox came out, who's kind of feuding with Lance on the side at the minute, but has been feuding with him for, I believe in that last promo that, Mox said, when's this finally end? Is this where it ends type thing when they had their street fight with Suzuki. So, yeah, all in all, I thought that the setup for this, and then you bring out the big babyface return pop, and God, Philadelphia loved him, and that is so important.
We've been waiting for so long. It's going to be great. Yeah, wonderful match. Wonderful. Storytelling. Storytelling in the ring. Storytelling not in the ring. Continuations. Yes. Good fucking work.
Yeah, this was really good, and I really enjoyed it. So, that's Dynamite. Through the power of letter maths, Mr. Strange.
Oh, we've got a giant fucking rack of B's, a few C's, a D and an A. So I'm going to give it, though, because of how good that A was at the end, how well it built the end of the show, and as much as all of the wrestling was solid, and, a couple of quibbles, depending on what storylines you like, I'm going to give it a high B. I think this was show plus one, building into something else. I'm excited to follow these plot lines. I'm excited to see where characters are going and what's coming from this. So a high B, Morg. That's how letter maths rounds out today. As valid as any Meltzer scale.
Yep. I think I agree. It felt like a high B show as well.
Always end on a high note.
And
on a high note.
It was, and they did a good job of their anniversary show. Without it being debuting a new big name. They did debut Bobby Fish, but you know what I mean? It didn't feel... That just felt like a natural new
It's the
wrestler.
championship people you get in.
Yeah.
It's going back to that TNT bring randos in, which I like. It means I get to see people like Bobby Fish and Eddie.
Yeah. Right. Moving on from there, it's over to you, Mr. Strange, for Rampage.
Oh, the Rampage.
Yeah.
What we've always called it. Right, okay, Rampage. We open up with Mark Henry talking to Punk and the Mandala people, Team 2.0 and their son Daniel Garcia. The Mandala men did most of the speaking for him, obviously. I love Team 2.0. They've got the straight face to cokehead combo was great. Then Mandala man himself, Daniel Garcia, spoke. He's getting better as well. So I find him very interesting, but he did speak. Punk was alright. He said Punk things, Goes straight into the match. Punk versus Garcia, and Punk wins with the Anaconda Vice, which is a submission. Solid technical match with some good shenanigans. Both of them look solid. Garcia kept up limb work and stuff. He needs some ring personality. He's great at wrestling, but he needs some ring personality. They had some chopper. Punk made Garcia look good when arguably, as being Punk, he could have chose to fuck on him. I can't say I'm a fan of the Anaconda Vice. It leaves your opponent with a free arm they could punch you in the face with, but that's just me. Good match. Gave it a C. I was entertained. Technically good.
So I struggled to score this match.
Yeah?
Because I realised at the end when I was sitting there chatting with my housemate and the Raptor that I was going to have to instigate the best friends rule.
Oh no, it's happening.
I'm going to have to instigate the best friends rule. Now, I gave it a B, but I am willing to be talked down. I really enjoyed limb work, the selling, Punk selling. I thought Daniel Garcia... I mean, I know what you said, arguably Punk could have, but he is very much proving he is there for one reason, to put over the... And he's putting them over by winning, because they're not the right person to beat him yet. And I don't think, other than possibly Darby doing the shock win on his opener, which I don't think would have worked, and I think they got away with that, because... that was a face versus face match. So I gave it a B, but as I say, I'm willing to be proved wrong because I do understand the best friends rule. For those of you who haven't been listening since the first episodes, the best friends rule is where Mr. Strange has to downgrade anything that the best friends do by 1 rank, unless somebody else tells him he's allowed to keep the rank.
And I'm going to bring this up. This isn't because I'm a new Orange Cassidy fan. Lots of people who get into wrestling now are, I love Orange. I love Dustin and Greg, Trent and Chucky. Yeah, everything they do.
It's original wonderful. Best friends.
Yes, mate. Alrighty, I'll roll on after that. Tony Schiavone spoke with Dante, Leo Rush, and Matt Sydal. Leo said he'd got Matt Sydal a match with Punk.
No, he would get him a match with Punk.
I didn't really. This wasn't as good as the previous one. It was still, solid. Leo Rush has got some. I'm not sure Sydal's a good pairing for him. Basically, I was still hoping for evil Buddhist Yellow Turban Rebellion. Maybe not burning people to death, but What do you think? I thought it was all right.
So what? Yeah, I mean, it was okay. What we liked about it was this was where we got the is Leo Rush playing babyface Hardy, because he hasn't screwed over Sydal when Sydal's gone, right, you keep talking the talk, what are you going to do? Okay, fair enough. I get you a match with CM Punk on next week's Rampage, the big name star, and that's a nice way of using Punk in both ways, because you're acknowledging the fact that he's the big returning star, so he's a hot shot person people want to wrestle. He's not been here for 7 years, not wrestled, and I just thought it came, and he's not feeding him. He's like, and I was like, ooh, are they making Leo Rush babyface Matt Hardy? And then me and Raptor were like, you know what? If he builds a little stable of flippy high flyers, and ends up feuding with like the Butcher, the Blade, and all the Hardy family, and you don't overbloat the stable like you have with the Hardy family. You might even want to steal a couple of Matt Hardy's high flyers. I'm sure one of them's quite pissed off with Matt Hardy currently.
Yeah, good point. Could you do a babyface Jack Evans?
Yes.
Could he do it? Is he too much of a twat though? He loves being a twat.
No, I think he'd be a great babyface twat.
Yeah, fair.
We know Angelico was a babyface twat at the beginning of Lucha Underground. Raptor hated him and then really liked him when he stopped being a bit of a babyface twat. Yeah, and he was, and then he became a proper babyface. So yeah, I think you can. I think those two's cocky baby faces would actually work really well with Leo Rush, who is very good at a cocky baby face. He's actually a likable cocky baby face, though, if you know what I mean.
Well, I'm enjoying him on the mic, so we can see where it goes.
That's what I mean. I've always found him to be quite an enjoyable cocky baby face, because he's the right level of it.
Dickish enough.
Yeah, dickish enough that you're kind of on his side, and he's like you say, he's good on the mic. But yeah, so I didn't hate it. I was more intrigued by where this is going, and that's all I care about.
Score.
Yeah.
Right. Then the Acclaimed lose to the Lucha Brothers, to the Penta Driver, not the Lucha Driver, the cool-looking one. I've written it down wrong, and now I can't remember. Bit of a weird match. Solid start. Good old Rey Fenix sleeping about. Bit of a solid clusterfuck. Acclaim come back and get the edge with the boombox and some shenanigans. A lot of Phoenix things. I always enjoy Phoenix things. I bounce off this, roll over here, jump off you, flip onto that, and then do a hip toss. And then they won. Sort of out of nowhere. They were going to win, don't get me wrong, and I love the Lucha Brothers. And much as I like the Acclaimed, I don't think they're big main event wrestlers. Bowens might be. Max Caster's got a bit more comedy to him. He does a great elbow drop. Don't know. Match didn't really stand out to me in any way, shape, or form. It came out, was good for a bit, and then finished. Skippable. It's all right.
So I gave it a high C. I quite enjoyed this. I probably, because I was getting again, my housemate he's not new to wrestling, but he's new-ish to AEW. Yeah. Guess who brought him to AEW?
Good work.
No, it wasn't me. No, it was
the Lucha Bros.
It was a return of a certain person, and then finding out that his favorite wrestler was about to return. Angry
vegan goat man.
Angry vegan, killer vegan, murderous vegan. His favorite wrestler. So I probably enjoyed this a bit more because he hasn't seen a lot of Fenix, so we got to see lots of what. Oh my god! And we interrupt. We're like, yes, he did watch Lucha Underground, the first season. We need to get him in and educate him in the rest of it.
You need to watch Ninjas versus Luchadors.
He will need to watch Ninjas versus Luchadors. At some point, I'm going to take him through all 15 matches. No, I'm going to take him through 14 of the 15 matches.
Hey.
And he can watch that one again.
Take the tour
on his own. Anyway, I gave it a high C, but it's still a C.
Yeah, it was all right. Right then Jaded versus Sky Blue. I don't know a lot about Sky Blue other than people on 4chan like her, and Zach likes her. So I was reasonably hopeful. Jade squashed her in like 30 seconds and won with the Jaded. No entrance for Sky Blue. Jade just kicked the shit out of her. Then Blue got a bit of a comeback. Yeah,
I gave it a D. It was a D squash.
Women's 30 seconds.
D squash. Well, I would say it was the Rampage squash.
Oh no, you are right.
It was this.
Then Rosa came out.
Squash.
That was nice.
Yes.
Skippable. We'll get on to the main event. Mark Henry interviews Cage and Starks. Cage. I think Cage needs a mouthpiece. Piece. And for a man who looks like he is, for a man who could tear me in half with his eyebrows, a man who looks like he accidentally crushes mugs when he drinks and tears doors off its hinges, he's so not menacing. He's just cuddly. Look at him. Isn't he friend-shaped? And I'm sure if he was kicking in my door, screaming at me, I'd be intimidated. But, maybe he needed Team Kaz. Anyway, the match.
Apparently he's that cuddly that while you were talking about him, my cat has just decided to come and sit on my chest.
See, your cat could hear the love available in the face of Brian Cage.
She likes Brian Cage. Penta's her favourite wrestler.
It's good to know. Right, the actual match. Cage versus Starks. Ricky wins with shenanigans on the Rochambeau. The Philly street fight. We get a power lead opening from Cage, which is nice. Starks gets a comeback with weapons, giving him the advantage. Jericho screamed send Hook, which has been fucking all over the internet. I love it. Then Hook came out and ate a lariat, meaning Hook can take bumps now, which pleases me. Then Hobbs ate a lariat. Ricky was bleeding, and then it was over. It was all right. It was a C. A lot of C's in this show for me.
Again, I quite enjoyed this. I gave it a high C.
Yeah, but you haven't crossed into a B, have you?
No. It is still a C.
That's the thing. Everything was okay, but that's how I'm finding Rampage now. Like, I watch Dynamite for the stories and what's going to happen. And I watch Rampage to go, there'll probably be some alright wrestling. I get up in the morning and avoid spoilers for Dynamite until I can watch it. And then I sit around, I eat my dinner, and I watch it engaged and driven. I put on Rampage when I feel like it before Monday afternoon. I skip the purgatory hellscape that is their theme tune of 40 seconds looping bollocks. This is how I'm starting to feel about Rampage. It's alright. It's a little bit more wrestling.
Yeah.
No?
But it's much better than Dark.
It is much better than Dark. Arguably, there might be better wrestling on Dark, but I just don't have time to watch another 8 hours of squash matches. But overall, we've got a rack of C's. You've made them some high, so I'll cancel out that D rank. It was a perfectly fine, passable show.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was all right. It was a C. And that's what the minimum we want. It's not what we'd expect, but it's the minimum we want.
Didn't regret watching it in any way, shape, or form, but it didn't inspire me for anything else, shall we say?
Yes. Yeah, that's fair. So there you have it. That's our review of the last week in wrestling. like to let us know what you thought. You'd like to ask us some questions. You'd like to give us some things to book. You'd like to give us some matches to watch and review for you. We are wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 on Twitter. Okay, so Matt Strange rants about some things and tells us what some things that were great that happened in the few weeks that we missed.
All right, do you want to start with positive or negative? Let's start with negative.
Negative and end on a high note.
I was an excited man. Jon Moxley versus Murder Grandad. Moxley isn't my favourite wrestler. Suzuki isn't necessarily the best wrestler. He is very Suzuki, and Mox wants to be very Suzuki. That first 7-minute match between Moxley and Suzuki to build this feud, and arguably the fight which the street fight after made up for it. What was that 7 minutes to miss the entire point of Minoru Suzuki, to skip his intro music, which somehow became a thing that led to a mini feud, to 7 minutes of one-sided beatdown pretty much. Moxley just beat him up for a bit and then won the match. Then we get the rematch from this, which was a better match. Don't get me wrong. I like seeing Mox. I like seeing Suzuki. I like seeing... Well, I'm less so on Mox. I like seeing Eddie. I was excited for that match and what happened. And they shouldn't have booked it in New York. Why the... We've had Suzuki twice now, and in the one case, he just sort of comes out, gets pissed off, and is injured with needing stitches on his eye. And the second time, he comes out and loses again. I mean, arguably, Lance ate the pin after one hell of a cool beatdown from Eddie. But I'd rather have had Eddie versus Lance, and then Suzuki do something. All Suzuki has done in AEW is show up, lose to Mox in like 7 minutes, and then lose again. And I said he's not necessarily the best wrestler. He's not necessarily the most exciting wrestler. He looks like a murder grandad. He's a little bit saggy. But neither's the fucking Undertaker. You know what I mean? I feel that is, although the second match was good and the first one was awful, I don't feel pleased with the bringing of Suzuki into AEW. Mox has beat 1,000 legends of NJPW now, and Suzuki is one of those legends. He is one of the founders of Pancras, which leads to MMA with Ken Shamrock and stuff like that. And I was disappointed with the Suzuki encounters as an overall storyline. What did you think?
I quite enjoyed them. I haven't seen a lot of Minoru Suzuki. I quite liked Murder Grandad. I quite like getting to see Murder Grandad do his bit. To be honest, I think this is all leading to one thing. And I know it's teasing you, and I know it's the one thing, and you will forgive them everything if they do it. But I totally think it's leading to full gear. Tanahashi finally has a match in America with Mox.
Oh, the ultimate face.
Yes.
Oh, he's so good.
Yes.
Blessed true baby face of wrestling.
You know, and I honestly think that is still where we're leading, because Mox keeps referencing it.
It's got to happen at some point.
And it's the Forbidden Door, and that will be the time that the Forbidden Door isn't just, they've joked about it being kicked in. That's the Forbidden Door getting ripped off its hinges, thrown to one side, because this isn't just a legend like Suzuki or a legend like some of the other legends he's had, or even or Kenta. This is Tanahashi, like you say. It is the baby face. The only way it could get bigger is if it was Okada, I think. And you could tell me that I'm wrong there. Okada to me is a slightly better known name as a wrestling fan who doesn't watch NJPW.
Would be more over here. Tanahashi would be more over as like an overall bubble of everywhere, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, Tanahashi I know he's great, and I have watched matches of him, and I know he's phenomenal. It's just Okada is that name that has crossed the boundary.
Yeah, little Kazu's the big engine. He held the title for fucking forever. Yeah. He's great. He does very standard matches, pitch perfectly. I think Okada's probably just done with America. His overall experiences haven't been that good on the other side. It'll be Ibushi. If they get Tanner, they'll get Ibushi, and it's amazing.
And that'll be the big one. Yeah. Anyway, so moving on from that.
Positive things. Positive things we've missed. I've got 4 entries in positive. We'll build them up in no particular order. Pac versus Andrade. I haven't reviewed since then. What a wonderful lucha technical match showing that Andrade cared because we criticised his first match as being a bit lazy. Pac showed us powerful and he was protected. The storyline with Chavo having brought things in, and I know Chavo's in phenomenal shape right now, and Andrade turning on him because he wants to win on his own, protecting everybody. Andrade slipping, flipping, legging, fucking moonsault thing, everything Pac does in the ring. I fucking loved that match, and everybody should know it, and I hope you loved it too.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was what I was waiting for. Give Andrade somebody. He's had his warm up, blow that little bit of ring rust after his no compete, and bang, and then let us see what Andrade's all about.
What he can actually do.
Are we leading up to Chavo versus Andrade? Is the question.
I think Chavo will be back with something. I know he's in great shape. I haven't listened to his podcast, but he seems quite active and engaging in the community. So yeah, I think we'll get more of him. And seeing as AEW is basically the Guerrero family area now.
I think the chance for Andrade to beat a lucha legend like Chavo, with Chavo as the babyface.
Yeah, that'd be really good. That's very classic.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it'll be a nice little nod to people who are fans of, who have come into AEW from the Lucha fan side to see that, because we've had a lot from the we have a lot from the Japanese side because of the Elite, and we do have, obviously we've now got Andrade, but we've had Penta and Phoenix for a while, and I like when they used to do the Hispanic bits on BTE, which I do quite miss. I do. Latino or Hispanic. If I have said the wrong thing, it's just because I wasn't actually sure what the right word was. The Spanglish guys, yeah, thank you. They took the piss out of it, so we'll use that. And I have missed them now. Now I've started to miss the Spanglish bits.
Rid of the fucking shoes
because they've been away. Yeah, can we have them instead of shoes? Right. Yeah. What was your next? Not number 2.
Next moment. The Ruby Soho versus Britt title match. A great showing for both women. Britt still looked strong, even with some shenanigans in the match, and it knocked Ruby to the bottom of the scales. And she acknowledged this in a promo. But they've still got story between them. We know their connection. It stops her being hot-shotted in that way people get scared of. And it was just really nice to see Ruby, who I don't know, perform, and she's good in the ring. First match with Jamie Hayter, although I enjoyed it, was a bit clumsy on both sides. Whereas this just showed both women going at it, showing they knew each other, and didn't have to win the title, and didn't then have to continue a feud over the title. She went, I'll be back later. Pretty good match. What they should have done.
Yeah, I've loved it. I've been looking forward to seeing Ruby get to do her thing.
I like her. She's in my favourite women's.
I thought she might be.
God,
that women's division is so strong now. Tony, time to start doing a bit. And I know you've given us a new title. That new title does mean more than one match on Dynamite.
More than 3 minutes. On the other hand, I say that on the main Dynamite, their women's matches have actually been what I count real match length, which is over 8 minutes. Yes, 12 preferably.
Because of the level of talent that you've now got in AEW. Their women's division, talent-wise, has caught up. It's just time to start pushing them now,
exactly,
like the old NXT women's division. And don't forget, the old NXT women's division was held together and made huge by 4 women. That you just need 4 great women, and you can make.
They've got more than 4 great women,
and they've got more than 4.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. Bring back Rio, not little Riho. Fucking Ultimate Warrior Rio.
Yeah, Girl Carter. Anyway,
Right,
next.
before we go to the big match that is obvious on this list, I'm going to bring up NRA Arn. Arn's I pull out my Glock and blow their brains over the pavement and AEW is largely a liberal company. I'm not going to get into anything political over this. We've got trans wrestlers, we've got gay wrestlers. None of it is over-pegged. None of it is forced down your throats in question marks. It's what's viewed as very traditionally a left-wing promotion for democratic people, shall we say?
Sorry, I had a cough during the minute. I was about to say progressive.
That's the word. Thank you. So Arn Anderson saying he pulls out a fucking gun and blows a guy's brains out came out of fucking nowhere. And I loved it, and the internet loved it. And it's weird to see what is, let's say traditionally viewed as a bad sort of mindset, pulled in an almost sort of borderline facey way against Cody of would you harden the fuck up. Sorry, I'll be more politically correct whilst I'm in dodgy territory. And the internet loved it. Nyla Rose made a million memes, as I said earlier. You can buy a t-shirt from Arn that just says Arn and the R is a pistol with splattering brains on pavement since 1968. And I don't own a lot of wrestling shirts. And I was like, you know what? I could have that shirt. It's like how Miro got over by basically being a Deus Vult Christian, though, isn't it?
Yep.
I smash people for God and then have sex with my wife. And traditionally, that would be a villain role. But everybody just went, this is fucking wicked. And you still knew he was the baddie. It's like liking Thanos in a way. You go, Thanos is cool. He is an asshole, but he's cool. So yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Arn's gun gimmick. I don't know how you feel about it, but it makes me laugh.
To be honest, I watched it for what it was. To me, it was just a cool... character thing, and my politics are quite take a step to the left, but
and mine too. I just but dodgy to talk about.
He wasn't actually doing it, and it was
exactly. He's not really gunning people down.
It's on the enforcer, the hitman. He was the enforcer for the Four Horsemen. And if you're going to use Arn, you don't have him always be the twee guy who's hiding behind his waffle menu. Sometimes you bring out the enforcer, and God, it was really cool. I thought I just thought it was kind of cool. I still, as I say, we can be progressive and have our political standings and be, but we're still going to watch an action movie, and it's still cool when the hero pulls out a gun and blows the bad guy away. Because at no point did Arn say, oh, this guy's a good guy, I'm just shooting. It's literally some guy drags me out of my car.
Blow his brains out. Fucking hell, Arn. Calm down.
It's just Dirty Harry, that's all.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, no, wicked. And as I said, we're intrigued to see where this story goes and where, from the promo earlier. Right, obviously the best thing we haven't reviewed, the top thing I want to talk about, the match I loved more than anything else they've done in quite a while. Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson, the murder vegan. They kicked shit out of each other for, what, was it half an hour or 20-minute time limit on that match?
I think it was a 30-minute, I'm not sure.
But either way, I don't think Bryan's ever been to Japan. Kenny obviously has, and Kenny got to do what Kenny has done best. What people know him for being the best bait machine for, and it was just straight fighting. There was none of this Kenny cowers and blah blah blah. He didn't feel like a pussy like he has in a lot of these things. Kenny fucking fought, and Daniel Bryan, you can see murder in the vegan's eyes as he comes for them from his goat pen. Ready to destroy. God, I love him. They just kicked shit out of each other. And it was wonderful. It was art. I, in my review, which we didn't get to do, only gave it an A. You've said it was an S. I suppose there is enough story, and I have been talking about it. This is a match I will cite like how I continuously cite Shingo versus Cobb from the 1G1 or Wrestle Kingdom. This was I hate using the word, an epic battle, a thing worthy of a long-lasting story, and I think it would be wrong of us not to acknowledge this in words.
This was the dream match. As much as Kenny versus Punk is a dream match, or such and such versus Punk, it's only because Punk's been out for 7 years. So anyone versus Punk is a dream match, and I speak as a Punk fan here. Anyone. I'll happily watch him wrestle the lowest tier guy on Dark because I'm getting to see him wrestle again, and we know why he's there. This was a dream match. This was, the best wrestler from WWE versus the best wrestler from AEW. I mean, these are the two guys who will legitimately stand for the best in the world thing.
And Phoenix. But yeah.
Phoenix falls down on the best in the world due to promo game.
I'll give you that. Yeah, all right.
Subtitle.
Kenny's not a great promo.
No, and that's where Punk picks up, because he's a great promo and a good wrestler. So that's where, it's where it all sits in this weird amorphous blob. But the two pure wrestlers that are the best. From Dubsy.
They kick shit out of each other.
Kick shit out of each other for half an hour. It had the correct ending. That was the best ending. And I can't wait for the Iron Man match.
Was that what they're doing next?
No, that's my prediction.
Oh, good prediction, and I hope they do.
That'll be the Iron Man match. That happens probably just after Full Gear, after a certain person cashes in his chip. And kicks out from the Winged Angel.
We've got a lot of good wrestling. Like, I can be critical of a lot of things we've talked about. I can be excited about a lot of things that we've talked about. But I am interested, and this is the more important thing. It's not like I'm excited. Like, people get excited for the next Marvel movie and go, oh, the next Marvel movie. When you know what's going to happen. X character's going to show up, X character's going to show up. This is going to happen, one's going to win, blah, whatever. There'll probably be some kind of fucking cameo by Tony Stark somehow. I'm interested for where these storylines are going. I'm not just excited. I want to know how this character is going to interact with that character. I want to know how this title shot's going to go. Is he ready for the win? Maybe he won't catch it in yet. How is this Bryan Danielson, Omega arc going to tie to? I'm interested and excited. And that's the best thing about AEW, in my opinion, as a wrestling show, is I am interested in the story arcs, not just two men kicking shit out of each other for half an hour.
But two men kicking shit out of each other for half an hour is pretty
cool. It doesn't hurt, does it?
But yeah, as soon as I watched it, I was like, yeah, that was an S. To be honest, they were like 2 minutes in, and I was like, this is going to be an S, or they've both fucked up. The only way to me this could have not have been an S was if they'd each sat in the separate corner and just thrown things at each other. I just couldn't see a moment from the beginning of watching this match and it was just brilliant. And as I say, it was a dream match, and they gave us a dream match, and they didn't give it us on a pay-per-view. Dangerous to not do that.
The right move. Good lads.
But there's
roar in the audience. Nobody starts watching nobody goes out their way to spend 30 quid, $50 on your show if they don't know what your wrestlers can do. You could watch your average couple of Dynamites from the last few weeks and go, yeah, the wrestling's all right, but that's not worth 30 quid. You give me that and I'll go, here's my fucking wallet. Let's go.
That's fair. See, there's the argument of Dub giving away Hogan versus Goldberg when Goldberg finally defeated Hogan on free television. And it's always been a big criticism of Dub, that's why it concerns me, because surely you build up to the pay-per-view. But we don't have pay-per-views every 5 minutes with AEW. And I'm hoping they don't go down the Dubsy route of having one every month. I'm hoping they stick with making them special and keep doing their little super shows on Dynamite.
Yeah, like the weird... Not all of these titles.
Spread your super shows out a bit, because we did have a run of 3 in a row.
I don't even pay attention anymore. They're like, oh, it's this, and it's got a special name, and I'm like, all right, it's I don't know, Rocky Rampage, because we're up in the Appalachians.
But I mean, there is nothing to stop them doing every, in between a pay-per-view, you have your televised super show, which is what I would do, where your wrestlers go, right, we're after pay-per-view quality matches. Your bookers are in the back going, right, we're after pay-per-view. This is your payoff for some feuds. We're going to debut someone. We're going to have the big payoff for a feud. We're going to have a title change on free TV because that's a thing we do. And it'll be something like the TNT or the TBS or the tag team. Though the tag team one is important. I don't think you change the world championship on her. The women's, I think you can get away with, though hopefully that'll become less and less of my
Hopefully it will become as respected as the men's title.
Hopefully that's what, that's the dream.
You've literally got titles named after your TV channels to swap on your paper, on your specials. That's fine.
That's exactly
Big belts on the other one. It's our trios belt and our women's tag. God fucking damn it.
Right, there you have it. Unless you've got anything else to add, that's our show. Like to thank you all for listening. I'd like to thank Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. If you want to find us, we are Wrestleopinionated on Anchor.fm, Spotify, and YouTube. Over to you, Mr. Strange.
Please send us in anything you want. We'll talk about anything, answer any questions, or speculate on any potential booking you like. Morg's pretty good at the old booking on the fly malarkey when it comes to it. But if you've listened this far, please give us a like, share, subscribe. Pretty much any interaction on YouTube, to be honest. The algorithm doesn't actually care if it's good or bad, but we'd like a comment and stuff. That's fun. If you could click whatever it is on Anchor and on Spotify, that means it's good. I think it's a little hard on Spotify. I don't know about Anchor. The site scares me. But once again, thank you for listening. Give us some positive interaction. Give us some regular interaction via comments. Back to you, Morg.
So all that's left to be said, as always, is goodbye and good night.